Well, this is Kevin Min with Outside the Games. I have a great guest with us today. This is Tallen Edwards. She is a softball player, plays shortstop, class of 2023 out of Southmore High School in Oklahoma. Pleasure to have you on, Tallen Edwards. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing really good. Thank you so much. Tallen, we start out with the aspect of family, because we believe that family is everything. It's a great foundation for student athletes. The family provides so much support for student athletes. When you talk about just the little things, clothing, food, shelter, all that, just the minimal things, but they're important. How would you define family and why?
The way I look at family would probably be like a backbone. No matter what, you always have them, and they're always there to pick you up when you're down, and there's nothing better than it. Every time what's the word for that? They're just strong. They're a stronghold for you, and you can always count on them.
Right. It's important. It's important foundation. So each of your parents play a role. And I think that's important to say, because you look to them for that guidance, that protection, that insight, that support. Let's start off with Dad, because I know Dad is heavily involved in what you do. Explain how Dad supports you as a student athlete.
My dad has been my coach, my best friend through every bit of my softball career and through life in general. And he can be very hard on me sometimes, like especially when I was younger, a lot of pressure, but it all turned out to turn me into the athlete that I am today. And I'm really thankful for him staying on my butt about my grades, life in general, pointing me to the right side, and just keeping me and guiding me through my whole life.
Strong. Your mom, and I know your mom, I've seen some social media, so I've seen your mom and dad involved with you, but your mom, what kind of role does she play in your life to support you as a student athlete?
I think my mom is more of I'm her little baby type of person, so it's kind of like a mixed match, but my mom is more the person that I can run to and be like, Dad did this to me. Like, she's just more of like loving. I don't want that to sound bad, but she's more of I'll take you in and I'll settle you down. You know what I mean? But she's played a huge role, because anytime that I feel very pressured or that I feel like just nothing's going right, she's always there to pick me back up and tell me that I got it.
Yeah, and those words can be so reassuring to a student athlete, because just of what you're facing every single day, maybe a bad test, or maybe something just doesn't go your way. That support structure is so huge, isn't it?
Yes, very, very big.
So let's talk about your mentors. Now there is others in your family, right? You have a sister,
Sister and brother.
a sister and a brother. Kind of explain their role, how they play to support you as a student athlete.
Both of them, I see both of them as my idols. Both of them, everything that they did, I always wanted to live up to the same thing. I always wanted to live up or even do better. As a younger sibling, you always want to do better. And they just showed me my right and my wrongs, and they guided me through everything. And especially my sister. My sister is like literally my best friend. And watching her grow up and play this sport, and watching her dominate, same as my brother, it was just something that was super inspiring. So they lifted up a different life for me, watching them.
And your brother, does he play a sport as well?
Yes, he did. He's out of college and everything now, but he went to Arkansas his first year and then transferred to Murray State. So yes, he played college baseball.
There's a big sports-driven family here, right?
Yes, for sure. We were born into it, so no choice, but kind of glad we didn't have a choice.
Yeah, and I think let's go talk to about your sister, though, because she does provide a support, because it's the same sport, correct? And that there's that guidance there, because you're now in the shoes that she was once in, and she's now in college, and that's eventually your goal is to get to college and play the game of softball. So what are some things that she shares with you to help you?
She shares to me just about the college life and just a lot about softball in general. She's been through everything that I'm going through now. So she can guide me through everything, keep me settled, keep me very humbled throughout the whole thing. And she just opens up a lot of new doors, and when I'm thinking of one thing, she's thinking of another thing. So it kind of comes together, and she just makes things a lot easier, to be honest.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. The, to have such a big support, not only mom and dad, but even siblings and your brother and
Yes.
sister.
Yes.
Now we'll talk about mentors, and they may be part of your mentors. They may be a
Mhm.
part of that group. Who are your
Yeah.
mentors and why? And that could be coaches, that could be just a plethora of people, because these are the extension of family as well, that play a
Mhm.
part. Tell me who those are.
Um, for the first person that is out of my family, I want to talk about my travel ball coach that I've been with for 2 years now. His name is Rob Thompson, and when I first started playing 18U, I was not playing with him. I was playing with another team, which great coaches and everything as well. But he brought me in when I was 13, no 14, when I was 14, and I started playing with him. And it's been 2 years, and I've seen myself grow as an athlete more in these 2 years than I have ever seen in my whole time of playing softball. And he is easily the hardest coach I've ever had, but he's always there to have your back. He's not there to be your friend. And that's the most important part, is he's getting everyone prepared for college and how college coaches are going to be, how the environment's going to be. And I think that plays a huge role in my softball career. So
Yeah, and I think the thing is too is that you lean on his information. I mean, there's things he shares with you that you lean on and you look at as being something that is guidance and guides you in a way of where to go. Correct?
yes, sir.
Who else plays a good mentor for you in your life?
Um, definitely my parents. Definitely God. God. I'm pretty big Christian, so throughout like everything with softball, you get really flustered, and I feel like I run to God a lot when it comes to softball, school, really anything, good and bad. Um, and I feel like it's just like a spirit that like lifts me up whenever I feel like I'm not doing anything right, whenever I feel like I don't have anyone to talk to, like at times where I don't want to talk to anyone except for him. And I feel like it's just something that I always lean on, and something I really look up to and into. So God definitely plays a huge role.
And I appreciate you bringing that out, because I think God does play a big role in a lot of people's lives,
Mhm.
especially having that personal relationship, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Have a personal relationship and a deep relationship with the man above. With
Hmm.
him. It's something about where it's a special, quiet place that you can share your most inner feelings. And I think
Hmm.
for a student athlete to have something like that,
Hmm.
that means a lot. That keeps you. And then after you have that discussion with him, you're like,
It's
oh, yes,
yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, start out here with the student athlete challenges, that of, those, there's some there, it takes a lot. You can be thrown in a lot of different ways, having to academics, softball, family. Tell me a little bit about the aspect of these student athlete challenges. What is it about them that makes it hard for you, and what are a couple?
I think a couple is one going to be, of course, the schoolwork and having to manage all of that. And another one is the people that are around you. I think a lot of the time, especially in high school or really at any time in your life, the people that you choose is very important, because in high school, you choose the group that likes to skip, you choose the group that makes just bad decisions. You're obviously going to fall into that, and you're going to possibly become one of them. That's usually how it goes 99% of the time. So I feel like being strong and having a voice and understanding which group you need to be hanging around and who's going to guide you the best is super important for any type of kid. Getting in the right group and staying on the right path is definitely a huge one.
There's a word that comes to mind here, Talon, is the aspect of toxic. And I
Mhm.
think the thing is that you, because you talked a little bit about your religion and how that's shaped you and the foundation for you, but it's also helped you to be clear in a sense of not having people walk all over you, having the right friends, watching out for peer pressure, and removing the toxic people in your life. Is that true?
Yes, for sure. When I was younger, I was a little bit more vulnerable, and I didn't really have a voice for myself. And I grew up, mostly kept playing softball, started playing 18U a little bit, and I grew to have the thickest skin and such a strong voice. It's kind of like a thing where you have to respect my decision. It's not, I respect your decision, you respect my decision. We don't see each other differently. And if you do see me differently, then it's kind of like I need to distance myself. I don't need to be around certain people that I feel like I can't speak around, you know? So, yeah, I definitely got some thick skin and started realizing that if you're toxic to me, then we just don't need to be friends. So that's basically how that went.
Time management talent is something that, again, you have to fit in family, you have to fit in softball, academics, and there has to be your time as well. That could be, hey, let's be clear, you're religious, and so it could be Bible reading or things like that. Sort that's time for you. How do you handle time management? Being you could be thrown in so many different areas of trying to get something done. How do you handle that?
Time management is something that's super stressful, and a lot of people don't have it, and I honestly just gained it. For me, I just keep a lot of the stuff the same. I keep everything in the same pattern every day. I do the same thing so that it's something common to me and I'm not going to forget anything. I also use like calendar, remind, or I write a lot of stuff down so that I can remember, see visually, who's this, what am I doing this, how much money does this person have to pay, like just certain things for myself to keep myself in line throughout the day.
Wonderful thing for you, especially with technology. There's an app for that. There's always
Exactly. Right, there definitely is, and that's been a huge blessing and a great help for me.
a word that comes to mind though too that a student athlete faces is that of procrastination. A procrastination can set in, especially when it's like, okay, I know I got to get this done, but then I lose myself a little bit. Tell me a little bit
Mhm.
about how you fight against that.
Procrastination is literally evil. I struggle with it so much. It's kind of like sometimes you come home and you don't want to do a certain thing. You don't want to do a certain assignment. You don't want to do stuff. And you're tired. You're just like, okay, I want to go to sleep. I'll do it in the morning. Then you don't do it in the morning. That's that's me. I'm so guilty of that. But it's really just about knowing that you have to get it done at this point, knowing that you really don't have a choice, and to keep yourself on the right path and not get behind, like you got to do it. But yeah, procrastination is my biggest fear. Honestly, it literally eats me alive.
Oh, hey, that's truth right there. That's truth. Um, let's talk about Southmore High School there in Oklahoma. Again, you're not a senior, so in class of 2023, there's some time left in high school,
Mhm.
but tell me what your experience has been with coming into high school. Because again, you got elementary, middle school, you come in as a freshman. Tell me what that experience has been like there in Oklahoma, there in Southmore.
um, Throughout elementary and middle school, I honestly worst years of my life. Hated them, could not stand them, was so over it. I was like, oh my gosh, now I have to go 4 years in this high school. I was like, I'm done. I just want to go to college. And coming as a freshman, I did not expect it to change my life in the way it did. I had so many people around me. Southmore is more of a family community type of school. And usually you hear about high school, this and this is going on with this person. And oh my God, their relationship. No, have been here for 2 years and I have not heard anything like that. Like everything is so civilized. Um, Especially with the athletes. The athletes have been a huge help behind me, not just softball. I mean, football, soccer, baseball. We all come together as a family and we all have each other's backs. And I would not want to go anywhere besides Southmore.
Being a student, there's something to be said about that because we'll get into softball. We will. But as far as a student, what is your current GPA right now?
My current GPA is a 4.1. Yes, 4.1.
And even COVID, we're dealing with that. We'll get into COVID too, but that's also had an impact as far as the academics part of it because some are not able to go to school. There's a lot
Mhm.
of online learning, but currently, are you on online learning or are you in school right now?
Yes, I am an online learner because my dad, very weak immune system, diabetes. So doing anything to keep him safe. So I am staying at home right now and learning online.
There you go. So we'll talk about that creates its own thing because I mean when you're in class, you have that face-to-face contact with a
Mhm.
teacher. But when you're talking about online learning, wow, that's a big difference. Tell me how
Mhm.
you're able to handle online learning during this COVID pandemic and keeping those grades up and working on your grades.
I think that it's honestly the hardest thing. Like, I thought, it's online, like, it's gonna be easy. It's not easy, and I think I speak for every single kid that is online right now. Teachers, when you're in class, you learn the lesson, you might get one assignment, maybe two, or sometimes I went in class and sometimes I would never get an assignment. I would just learn the lesson. You come to online, not only are you having to teach yourself, but you're also having to do four worksheets in one class, and you have to, and that has honestly been the biggest downfall, was you teach yourself and you get more work online, and there goes procrastination again, right there. It's on that laptop. Do I really want to do it? Not really. I really don't, but you end up doing it. It's been a struggle. It's been a real struggle. If I had the choice to stay in class, or if I was online with the work and everything, I would probably go to school. But I can't right now, and that's okay. So I'm just going to keep making do with what I have and keep making.
We'll be right back with Tallen Edwards, shortstop out of Southmore High School, class of 2023, on Outside the Games.
Theragun is an essential part of my warm-up and recovery. Deep muscle treatment never felt so good. This is better than a massage. And it's so quiet. The Theragun Mini is going everywhere I go. The super soft attachment is perfect for my most sore areas. I use my Theragun every day.
We're all moving at our own speed. From essential workers to frontline responders to you. Whenever you're ready to get out there, Enterprise is ready too. With our Complete Clean Pledge, you'll have the peace of mind that will get you safely on your way, wherever and whenever that may be. Enterprise. When you're ready, we're ready.
Hi, I want to tell you about a new fitness and tennis program we want to bring to your school from Fit America. AMPed is a running and walking program that also primes children's brains for improved learning. Parents and kids love AMPed.
When I run, I just feel like I want to keep on doing it. I go running, it makes me feel so much better when I run. It gets me more active and I can focus a lot more. When we go back to the classroom or take a test or something, my mind, it's like fresh.
John Graham, PE teacher at Frank Wagner Elementary School in Monroe, Washington. And we have been doing the AMP program for about 2 months now. And we have seen big dividends in our academic program and our behavior with our students, along with them getting fit every day that we're doing the program. It's an amazing program, and I highly recommend it.
Hi, I'm Kristen Cortez, principal at Frank Wagner Elementary in the Monroe School District in Washington State. Thanks to Fit America, our kids are getting active and they are benefiting both academically and behaviorally. I encourage you to do the same. Contact Fit America.
The bonus is we are actually introducing many of these kids to tennis.
I love playing tennis and being with my friends.
Because of this program, our child is now playing tennis.
It's amazing what this program is doing for these kids.
Hi, Stan Smith here. I'm really concerned about our kids' physical fitness. They really need to get more exercise. I hope you'll support Fit America like I do.
And the great news is we can implement this fitness and tennis program in your school. Let's improve the physical and mental health of our children.
We've got your back, Road Warriors. Because we know you want to get back to going your speed. Steering life at 10 and 2. You're prepared for this. And so are we. Soon, you'll get back to skipping the counter without missing a beat. Back to choosing any car in the aisle. Back to being the boss of you. Go National. Go like a pro.
Oh, that feels so good. It's pretty strong.
That'd be pretty handy. Oh, that's cool.
Feels good.
Oh, it's warm. That's really nice.
You can feel the vibration coming in a lot faster than anything that I've ever used before.
Yeah, because I have like the bigger foam roller, and it's nice, but it doesn't get deep in your tissue. Oh, the more heat, baby, I tell you what.
That's so nice. This was on Shark Tank, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember seeing it.
Oh, that feels so good. Right on the arch. Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
back on Outside the Games. Tallen Edwards, shortstop, softball player at a Southmore High School in Oklahoma. Yes, the state of Oklahoma, and a class of 2023 4.0 student. Yes. Tallen, tell me a little bit about that 4.0, because you have to have a good relationship with your teachers. Tell me how, even in an online setting, how important it is to have a good relationship with those teachers to keep your academics in check.
I think that's honestly one of the most important things. You need to be the student that's going to be outgoing. You need to be the student that is going to, if you don't understand something, ask your teacher. Always stay on their good side. I mean, obviously, like, why would you want to be on a teacher's bad side? They literally control your future at this point. So last thing you want to do is get on their bad side. I am the type of student, though, that is outgoing. I ask my teachers for help when I need it. I take everything in. I get extra hours if I need it. And just having a relationship with them and being cool with them is always an A+. So
that's important. I mean, you find it that do the teachers know that you're a student athlete, and how much does that play a part in the fact that you're trying to be a successful student athlete and you want to make a good name for the student athletes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure. Usually there's been a couple teachers that actually didn't know that I was an athlete. Which I didn't really mind. I don't really care if you know I'm an athlete or not, but there's a lot of teachers that were super cool about a lot of stuff because of time management. Sometimes it gets so outrageous and I couldn't handle it. I would definitely go to my teachers and be like, hey, can you literally give me one more day on this? Like, I promise I'll get it done. They might take 10 points off. I was like, well, just let me turn this in. Having teachers like that you're a student athlete, it's honestly a blessing because they do help you out, or they're a little more lenient on you. And the athletes that go and talk to them and actually tell them, like, hey, I'm struggling right now trying to balance everything, those types of student athletes are going to be the ones that they're going to be more lenient to, instead of just not turning the paper in, not doing the quiz, not doing something. No, you let them know a day before, hey, I have this, like, can you give me more time on this? And they'll do anything to help you out, especially at Southmore. So that's definitely why I love it.
Yeah, we'll touch about the support of Southmore High School, but let's touch on the aspect of you cannot be a timid student athlete. You have to be very outspoken when you say, hey, I need help, I'm struggling. A lot of times student athletes seem to kind of just not say anything, and then they wait till it's too late. That kind of coincides with softball as well, with your coaches as well. But from an academic point of view, you have to speak up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Not having a voice, I'm not saying that it's going to be a bad thing. I mean, if you still get your work done, turn it in a little late, that's fine. But for me as a student athlete, I don't want late work. I don't want zeros in the grade book. I don't want anything like that, because for me, I'm trying to graduate in a different color than 90% of the students. So the last thing I'm going to do is not speak up and tell a teacher that I need help on something, or that I need a little bit more time. And that's the same thing with coaches, asking for help, asking them about certain things, telling them, hey, I'm not going to be at practice today. That type of stuff goes the same way for academics. So you have to treat it just like it.
Tallen, what is the support from Southmore High School? How have you felt about their support when you talk about academic counselors, or how do they view academics? What is that school like? Kind of break that down a little bit.
From coaches to teachers to counselors to janitors to kids, anything, everyone there is, I've never met a whole school that's so kind-hearted. Like, actually, there's a lot of people that I don't even know, but that I know if I walked up to and asked for help or said something, they would be just fine with it and help me out with it, whatever I need. And that's the type of high school that I always wanted to go to. I wanted to always have that tight bond with everyone. We're all cool. We're all go to the same school. We're all in the same boat. So we might as well enjoy it while we're here. And that's basically what Southmore is. The encouragement from everyone, especially towards softball. Sometimes sports don't even talk to each other, like at certain schools, like they have no clue who's on the tennis team, like that type of thing. But that's not Southmore. Anything you do, somebody knows about. You have tons of fans at your games, even regular season games. It does not matter. Everyone is just always there to support each other. And softball gives back to football. Football gives back to us, and it just keeps going. and everything about the school. I just best high school ever.
What's your mascot?
Sabercat.
Sabercats. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do the alumni show support? You know, you'll find ones that have attended Southmore. They come back. They support the student athletes, the school. Do you find that a lot?
Yes, of course, especially for softball, obviously, because my sister went to Southmore as well and graduated in 17. So I know a lot of the alumni. Football, same way. My brother played football there, played baseball there. He comes back, same thing. For softball, it's huge. Like we've always been a powerhouse for softball. My sister and her squad has 4 rings. We just made the 5th one this 2020. So there was like 8 alumni at our state game, and we were like, why are y'all here? No, they said they drove from college. They were like, we're coming to watch this. So seeing alumni there is great, because you realize how great the school has been ever since it's opened up. Like seeing how many people will come back just because they do love the feeling of Southmore all the time.
Go back to the student and teacher relationship. What does a teacher have to provide for you to have you be successful as a student?
I really don't think teachers owe us anything. I don't want it to sound like that. But
they're accountable. They're
yes.
accountable. I mean, let's think about this. They have a job. They have a profession. It's not to say they owe you anything, but they're being paid to teach. And so what do you think they have to possess in order for you to be a successful student?
I think that they have to be not more lenient on us, but understand sometimes that we're not going to be able to get everything done all the time. Understand that a kid has stuff to do too. That's how we feel. It's like, you guys are not the only ones that have stuff to do. They have to understand from our point of view. Think about when you were a kid, you had a lot of stuff going on. You had a lot of stuff to do, especially as we're getting older now. We have jobs, we have softball, we have football, we have sports, we have everything. We have a lot of stuff that we have to get done. So I feel like them just putting themselves in our shoes is something that is huge.
And for you as a student, what do you have to possess in order for the teacher to be very successful? Because they have to be successful in what they do and how they teach and how they're motivated to teach, even in an online setting.
I think that for us students, we need to give back the same thing that they're giving us. They're teaching us, so we learn, we do what we're supposed to do. They're doing a job, we're doing a job, and we keep going back and forth. For the kids that don't turn stuff in, don't do their quizzes and stuff, that's not just hurting them, that's hurting the teacher too. So I feel like like I said, we all have to put each other in each other's shoes, and we all have to respect each other on, you're doing this for me, so I need to do this for you.
That's strong. That's strong, Tallen. Tell me this. With regards to, your being a good student athlete, why is it important for you to be outspoken in a sense to let people know, hey, I have a problem, or why it's important that, hey, if I have a problem, I'm seeking out to you to help me out? Why is it important for a person to be that way, to be assertive, outspoken, confident, but get that help?
I feel like it's important because if you don't speak your mind, nobody's ever going to know what you want. Nobody's going to ever know that you need help. No one's going to ever know that you're in a bad place. Like, always speaking out and being open with at least one other person can always help you, like through anything, whether it's school, softball, whether it's just your normal personal life. Just being outspoken, it can make you feel better. It can get stuff off your chest. It can help you. I think that being confident in your words and understanding that you have a voice is very important, because it's going to help you somehow. It's never going to hurt you. If you have something on your mind, speak it.
So Tallen, tell me, we're going to talk a little bit about your favorite class. What is your favorite class right now?
My favorite class is probably chemistry.
Ooh, why so?
Yeah. I'm kind of more of a science nerd. Science and math are my things, and I'm in geometry right now, and it's not my biggest fan, so we're not going to talk about that.
But you do know this, hypotenuse triangle.
Oh my gosh, I don't even want to get into any of this. I can't. I have 15 assignments that I have to do for geometry, and I'm over it.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared. The hypotenuse triangle.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh gosh.
Sorry. Chemistry, though, the periodical chart, knowing
Mhm.
the different elements, and then math and how that all works out. You find that to be very interesting for you.
I do, because like I said, I'm like more of a math freak and a science freak. So when those like combined, I was like, okay, this is something I can do. And it's like, it never really changes. Like everything stays the same. It's not like a guessing game in chemistry. It's one answer and it's one answer only. And that's what I always like for it. I'm the type of person that I don't like to think of certain stuff to get an answer. Like I don't want to do that. I want to be able to do math, get the answer, and understand that that's what it is. 3 steps, we're done, type of thing.
So Talon has a favorite class, but what's her least favorite class?
I gotta go with history. Anything to do with his world history, anything like that. It's not that I don't want to learn it. It's just so boring. It's so boring for me. I mean, it's important, of course. Like you do learn it. You do want to understand your past and your history, but sometimes it's just like, why? Like, I'm sorry, why am I learning about what China did in 1994? What's the point of this? Are we joking right now? Like, I don't think I need to know this, but I'm gonna do it anyways.
What I want to ask though, for student athletes, how is it that, because sometimes there's always going to be subjects that you don't like, you just can't get in. And usually it's those subjects that you do like because you can apply it to yourself. You like it, you can understand it. How does a student athlete make it to where they can try to get through a class and try to understand it, apply it to themselves? How do they find that?
Oh, you find it basically off of force, almost. Like you have to do it. You may not want to. Just like when I was sitting in history class, I did not want to listen. As bad as that sounds, I did not want to listen. It was so boring. History teachers are always boring with it. But it's kind of you're in there for an hour. You might as well listen. Like there's no reason to doze off, do anything else. Like you're in there for a reason. It's an hour. Get over it and get it done and get out.
I want your opinion on something about history, though. Do you think that the history course should be redone? I mean, there's a lot of stuff in history that's not really out. I mean, I get that there's time. There's a timeline of events that have shaped our history, but when you talk about the history of people, we're diversified in a sense of who we are, where we come from. So, do you think they should add a little bit more elements to the history, and so that way it just covers a lot of different multicultural type situations?
Yes, I feel like in school, people that are 60 have literally learned the same thing that I'm sitting here learning now. And it's like, is this ever going to change? Like, okay, when I have kids, are they going to still be learning about the pyramids? Like, come on now. Like, there's been a lot of stuff that has happened through the 1930s and up that it doesn't cover. It doesn't give you certain information that a lot of people should be knowing. Instead, we're literally learning the same thing over and over again. And it's kind of like, I see it as pointless, but we got to do it. It's fine. I can't change a school system.
Well, and not to, talk about ethnicity, but I mean, even in a situation where you're talking about how, African Americans have had an impact on world history in a sense of contributions and things of that sort, because there's a lot of things not taught. It's kind of has its own little subject in its own class. When you think about history in general, it's a bunch of different facets of information that there's a lot of history that has been provided to shape who we are today, right?
Yeah. And I genuinely don't think it covers enough of it. It's in little parts of it, but it doesn't cover enough of it. And like you said about African American, how I literally think I've learned about one tiny lesson about slavery. Nobody ever wants to talk about that. Nobody ever wants to go into that, but we want to talk about George Washington, is this so-and-so president? That's usually how it works. And I think I learned it one time in 8th grade with my history teacher about slavery and stuff, and got deeper into it, but it was for maybe a week. And then we went right back to the pyramids. And I was like, okay, well, and it's not just about African Americans, it's about all races that we usually never get into. And I feel like when you think about history, that's where you go back to. You go about racial issues, religion. You go back to a lot of that, and a lot of that is not taught. We learn a lot of different other things that I just feel like doesn't interest me, one. But I mean, of course, not all school interests anyone. But I feel like there should be more things that we need to learn, and not so much of what we're learning right now.
No, that's powerful. So to all you curriculum people in history, Tallen has spoke the truth on this, and I think we
Listen to this one, please.
Let's get into the sport of softball. Now, tell me, what has been, you talked about the fact that you have, a softball was probably in your hand at some point in your youth, right? And through that time, you've played the sport, you've been around the sport, but talk a little bit about what the training for softball has been for you. Because again, as you're learning about the sport, getting better at the sport, the training aspect, you can't forget about that. That comes and plays a big, huge part in what you do.
I feel like the training aspect, it's genuinely a very slow process for a lot of athletes. It's almost the same thing over and over again, and you don't realize what it's doing for you until you get into a game and you make something happen. So a lot of the time, the training process is painful and slow and hard, especially throughout this off season right now. It feels like it's never going to end, and it's like you just want to be back out there doing what you love to do. But it's the most important part. It's where you build yourself. It's where you find yourself. It's just where you become a whole athlete as one in the training process, and then you take it out to the field, to the court. You know what I mean?
Mid-March 2020, and I can say this about 2020. I'm sure if I had to, ask probably 30 people what 2020 has represented. I mean, literally there's a GIF file that shows a dumpster on fire rolling through a flood. I've said that many times, that's exactly what 2020 has been for a lot of people in an aspect of just police brutality, justice, and racial tension, presidential elections, voting, just a lot of different things has affected 2020. But let's not forget COVID-19, March of 2020, we saw COVID change so many things. Now, the aspect of training for you for softball, how has COVID affected the student athletes in general, number one, but number two, how has it affected you individually?
Individually, it has definitely affected me. I think it affected me most of like my schedule and like how I am as a person year round and what I do in certain months, and like how I work as a person, how I function. Getting quarantined and sitting in this house for 2-3 months before I actually got to go out and play softball again was devastating, and it was so hard because I'm not used to being the person that just sits and lays in bed like all day for 2 months. Like that's not how it works. So doing that and then having to like regroup yourself all the way back up into an athlete, into a person, into a family member sometimes, because I swear I didn't see them half of the time. It was so hard, and it definitely shaped me because it also gave me a lot of alone time. It gave me a lot of alone time to think about a lot of stuff, like we talked about earlier with the toxic relationships, toxic people, everything like that. I think that hit the hardest in March too, because you finally got to like sit down alone, and for 2 months, like what else are you going to think about? So that definitely shaped me into the thick skin. It shaped me into having a voice and all of that.
A word to I think about is evaluating.
Oh, yes.
A lot of evaluating.
Yes. When you have alone time, you just sit and think about everything in those 2 months. I don't think I missed a beat of my life because I thought about everything so much. And at that point, you could either let it break you or you could get stronger from it. And I chose to go stronger with it. I chose to evolve in all of that. So it was hard, but we got through it. And honestly, after I started playing summer ball and stuff, 2020 shot straight up for me. It was up from there.
Things that stand out to us, especially during COVID, these are new terms, masking, social distancing, quarantining. I mean, these are things that we've heard over and over again. Phase 3 is really what you guys are in right now in Oklahoma. How has that changed things with regards to, we know online learning, but how has that affected the aspect of your softball, your teammates, and the team itself? How has COVID affected that that whole piece of your sport?
It put it down a little bit, honestly. Like sometimes there was a lot of limits. There were so many limits that you're not used to having while you're playing the sport, while you're traveling, anything like that. And sometimes it was almost scary hopping on a plane. I have 28 girls on my travel ball team. We're all hopping on a plane at the same time, going through 2 different airports, and it's like anyone could have it at any time. Which means if you have it, we all have to quarantine ourselves, which means we're out of 2 weeks for softball. And it was something that you always thought about the future. You always thought about, oh my gosh, what if this happens? What if this happens? And that's like the worst thing to sit on, is a what if. And so playing softball throughout all of that, it was so scary, especially when we got deeper into our season. We started feeling good. We did not want to take any time off and lose that. So it was a lot of fear throughout travel ball and school ball. It was just a lot of staying on our toes. And but respect to everyone like that I played with that did keep themselves safe, that did wear masks, that didn't go out into huge parties and ruin what we did this year. So a lot of respect for that.
Talk about softball, and we're going to get into that now. Softball, with regards to your team, how have things been going for you as a shortstop? How have things been going for you in your position, and really your teammates? How is the team doing? How is the schedule going to look like, especially with COVID-19? And you got to schedule games, you got to go to the games, make sure that they don't have COVID, and that can change things. So what does that season look like for you?
It once again looks scary, as always, but being on a team with girls that I trust, not only travel but school ball as well, it's a great feeling through such a hard time in this year. And next year, I bet it's going to pop up with some surprises. We haven't had a good year yet. So just knowing that I'm going to be able to regroup with all of my friends and basically sisters to me and my coaches and everything, just knowing that we're doing everything that we can to stay safe makes you feel a little bit more safe. You know what I mean? Because everyone's going to follow the guidelines. Everyone's going to do right because no one wants to sit out. So it's a little bit of fear, but also a lot of closure at the same time.
One word to describe your season coming up.
I'm trying to think of a good word here, and it's just it like lost. I just got lost in it. Fight. It's going to be a lot of fight. It's going to be a lot of grit and determination to hopefully repeat everything that happened this year. I won nationals and I won state, so it's like I don't want to lose that feeling at all. We're coming through this next season, and I want it to be the exact same way. So a lot of fight.
We've seen a lot. If you haven't followed Tallen Edwards, go follow her, because on Twitter, she's got a lot of media up there. Nice cut, good swing. What has it been to perfect that swing and that cut on the offensive side of the ball for softball? How have you gotten better in that?
Oh, it takes so long. Hitting offense in softball and baseball is the most up and down roller coaster type of thing you will ever feel in your entire life. And it beats you down 90% of the time. But going through and failing so many times can make the success just that much greater. And I think that's what I love about offense the most. But growing up, and I can't even tell you how many buckets of balls I've hit, even in the past month. But just working on something for so long and wanting to be so successful at it, and finally like getting that consistency that you've always wanted, it's a blessing, and it's the best feeling in the world, honestly.
How do you become a better shortstop? Because you have to be very defensive minded, knowing the ball, how is it going to bounce? There's a lot. It gets technical.
Mm-hmm.
It gets very technical in your stance, how you do that. Tell me how you've worked and perfected that.
I think with shortstop or with anything in the sport, it's all up here. It's all your mental. If you say to yourself before every pitch, every ball is mine, you're 99% of the time you're not going to fail. And that's how I think at shortstop. I feel like I have the most savvy on the field just because of my mindset. All of my technique, my mechanics means nothing if I don't have my mind, if I don't have my mentality set right. So just understanding who you are as a player and understanding that you've made 17,000 plays in your life, you can do it again. You can keep doing it over and over again. And just having that type of mentality is the most important thing to me.
I love that. I love that. Well, I tell you, we've had Tallen Edwards, shortstop, class of 2023 from Sophomore High School, that of Oklahoma. She is a softball player at heart, but a great academic student, 4.0. What college you got your sights set on for the next level? I mean, I know there's got to be a college that you have a favorite college there, and that can change, right? I mean, things change. But for right now, what's your favorite college that you like in softball?
Oh, I hope they see this. But definitely my favorite college, and it has been since I was literally 7 years old, has got to be Alabama. Alabama has been my dream school for as long as I can remember watching college softball. And I know a lot of people, a lot of my teammates that have went there and that are sophomores and juniors now. And I'm like texting them every day, like, hey, how's it going? How's the campus? How's the environment? How are the coaches? Is softball going good? Like, just always in their ear about Alabama, trying to get more detail in on the school. And everything that I've heard has been absolutely amazing. I've never heard anything wrong about that school. So definitely a dream of mine.
So Roll Tide has been in your vocabulary for quite some time.
Next time if we do another Zoom, it's going to be Roll Tide on the top of that little thing right there. It's going to be back there somewhere. The room's already red and gray, so I might as well.
Yes. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you on Outside the Games, Tallen. Getting to know you as a player and a person, a student athlete in general, character's everything. We appreciate a lot of your insight for being, class of 2023, my friend. You're not even a senior yet. Boy, things are looking great. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. This has been pretty fun. So.
Well, we're not done yet. We have this thing called the Quick Blitz. We're going to fire off a lot of questions to you quickly. People want to know what Tallen Edwards thinks on a personal level. So start out with favorite food.
Pizza.
Favorite dessert.
Chocolate. Ice cream.
Apple or Android, and why?
Apple. Definitely because I like FaceTiming people.
Favorite cleat to wear, because again, softball, you have to wear a cleat, right?
New Balance, the most comfortable.
Favorite shoe to wear?
Probably Huaraches. Nike Huaraches. They're also very comfortable.
If you had to travel to some destination spot anywhere in the world, where would that be?
San Diego, California.
Favorite musical artist right now?
Oh,
there's my
gosh. Annalie Chapa. Don't ask.
What was the last movie you just saw?
The Blind Side.
If you were traveling anywhere, and let's just say this, if you had to take one of your teammates with you, what place would you travel other than San Diego?
Oh my gosh. Think. Probably Australia. Somewhere in Australia.
Okay. If you were running late somewhere and you had to let somebody know something, would you call or text, and why?
Call, definitely. It just seems to get through quicker, and I never check my text, so might be that for other people.
Earbuds or headphones?
Earbuds. Definitely.
What was the last thing your mom said to you?
Bring me my charger.
What's the last thing your dad said to you?
Go get me a water.
You know, we're dealing a lot with socially, economically. You know, the world is seen as just changing so quickly, and social injustice and that. If there was one thing that you could have an impact on, Tallen, what would that one thing be that you could make a change in the world?
Definitely social justice. And not just for African Americans. I mean, for every race that feels like they're going through something, or even LGBTQ, anything like that. Anyone that feels like they're not getting treated fair enough, which is a lot of races, a lot of people nowadays. I definitely want to change that. I'm kind of over discrimination at this point.
Well, we have one last question for you. And again, your class of 2023, so I know I have confidence in you that you'll get this right. But if there is, you got to choose one or the other. Now, what would you prefer? Think about this. Would you prefer a pizza that was not cooked correctly, or would you rather be on Outside the Game Show?
Outside the Game Show. Duh.
Right. It's a pleasure to have you, Tallen Edwards. We'll be watching. We'll be seeing what's going on. We would love to come and see one of your games. So we look forward to that. Hopefully we got an invitation from you.
Yes, of course. I will send you my schedule, no doubt.
Sounds good. Well, this has been Tallen Edwards, shortstop, class of 2023, 4.0 student out of Southmore High School in Oklahoma. Tallen, thank your school, thank your parents. We really appreciate you being Outside the Games, where it's about the player and the person, the student athlete and character. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Out of the dust, a legend is born for the game, born for the throne, up from the ground, and out of the gates.
Customer service has always been at the heart of everything we do at Enterprise. And now, more than ever, we know the importance of keeping our valued partners, like you, informed about the service enhancements we've made for the safety and well-being of your customers and our employees. The Enterprise Complete Clean Pledge is our commitment to maintaining the highest standards of safety and cleanliness. Vehicle cleanliness has always been important, but right now, customers need even more confidence that the vehicle they are driving is clean and safe. With our Complete Clean Pledge, no matter where customers rent with us, a repair shop, their home, or our rental branch, customers will know their rental vehicle has been cleaned and sanitized in compliance with procedures established by leading health experts. Customers will see notifications within their vehicle that indicate it has been thoroughly cleaned using strict sanitizing procedures. These procedures include a strong focus on 20 high touch points throughout the vehicle, as well as washing, vacuuming, general wipe down, and sanitizing with a disinfectant. Additionally, we are innovating the rental process to minimize contact between your customers and our employees. Enterprise Launchpad allows us to interact with your customer where they are most comfortable and complete a properly distanced, low-touch rental transaction. Our safety precautions also extend to our rental locations. We've installed plexiglass counter shields to protect our customers and employees. Touchable surfaces are sanitized regularly, and curbside pickup options are offered to customers visiting a rental location. As the needs of your customers evolve, we want you to know that we are committed to maintaining the highest standards of safety and cleanliness, along with the same great service you expect from Enterprise. Thank you for your partnership.
I lost the first race I ever competed in. My family was there, my friends were there, and quite frankly, I was embarrassed. After that day, I changed my mindset, I changed my event, and won every race except for 2 over the next 3 years. Before I realized it, I was the USA Junior National Champion, the World University Games gold medalist, a 6-time collegiate school record holder, a 6-time collegiate All-American, and a world record holder. Of course, there were ups and downs. If there was one constant, it was the difficulty in finding a better way to recover and ease my pains. I tried every product available to aid my muscles in their recovery, from traditional tennis and lacrosse balls to heat wraps and even full body vibration plates. Yet I felt that my recovery was always lacking. As I talked to other athletes and active people, I realized I wasn't the only one.
As a mechanical engineer, I focused my research on how vibration affects the human body. Over the past several years, it's been shown that vibration can decrease muscular pain, increase blood flow, and enhance recovery and performance, but we wanted to understand this even further. So we took existing solutions out there and we tested them. What we found was very interesting, namely that there are very specific amplitudes and frequencies of vibration that must be used to achieve the therapeutic effects of pain relief, increased blood flow, and enhanced recovery and performance. Almost all existing products suffered from one of those 2 drawbacks. I knew Shaquille was running professionally around the world, so I gave him a call and asked him if he had noticed these shortcomings in products that were currently on the market. After confirming that he had recognized the faults in products we had tried, our visions aligned and Milestorm was born.
We are excited to announce our first product, the Meteor. The Meteor is the world's most innovative massage ball. It is a patent-pending device that uses the combination of vibration, heat, and pressure to relieve pain, increase blood flow, enhance recovery, and improve performance. Active people figured out a long time ago that massage balls could be used for releasing tight muscles. Most people are familiar with or have used lacrosse balls, tennis balls, or other roller balls to enhance their recovery. What makes the Meteor so unique and stand out as the best option in recovery is that it is just as portable as these simple, traditional methods, but with added features to take your recovery to a whole new level. The vibration reduces the pain associated with rolling out, while the heat increases blood flow and flexibility. When we first started this project, we knew it would be challenging. Compacting such an unbelievable amount of power into a 4-inch diameter was difficult enough. Then adding heat functionality made it that much more difficult. After countless hours of running tests to ensure safety and going through revision after revision, we have finally arrived at a point where we know we have the best and most versatile recovery device on the market. As a runner, I know how particular athletes and people in general can be about a product. We used this to our advantage. We took our early prototypes and tested them with every kind of person we could find, from Olympic runners, professional bodybuilders, physical therapists, and triathletes, to pregnant mothers and the elderly. The Meteor is for anyone who wants to feel better and recover faster, and will help to alleviate pain and enhance performance. And we are anxious to hear your stories about how it has helped you enhance your recovery and improve your life.